Sometimes, when you have nothing planned for dinner, it's nice to have a shelf full of freeze-dried food ready to go. Today I'm making a complete dinner with using freeze-dried things that would freeze-dried in the past. I've got some peas from a couple of years ago, some mashed potatoes from a couple of years ago, and some meatloaf from, about 3.5 years ago. So I think the peas are going to take the longest to rehydrate. So I already opened those. And I'm going to try those. I'm going to try those in the vacuum marinator of the Foodsaver, because that's done really well with a couple of other items. I'm going to just pour hot water over it. And ideally, I'd want to figure out a way to keep them completely underwater. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. So I'm not sure I could do that. Yeah, so maybe I'll add a little bit more water so that it holds them under by putting the lid on it. I think I'm going to try that. And close it off. I don't know if I left enough room. I don't know if it'll fit with the lid on there. Oh, we'll try that out. Little Foodsaver marinating attachment. Okay, and I'm not going to wait for it for any given time, because I just want to see if it will help push some of the water in there. And I can see the lid lifted up in there. So I need to try to weight it down with something. Yeah, I lifted up quite a bit. So let's try putting something on that to hold it down. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to try. Just something to hold that down and see what happens. I think the hard shell of the pea might make it collapse. Okay, I'm going to let the air back in slowly. Well, they look nice and green now, so they've started to rehydrate, but they did collapse a bit. Okay, well, that definitely collapsed. Well, we'll set that aside, let those rehydrate a while longer, and on to the meatloaf. Yeah. Next, moving on to the meatloaf, because I think that's the thing that'll take the second longest. The mashed potatoes should be almost instant, kind of like instant mashed potatoes. Okay, this is 12 slices. That's more than I need right now, but we'll see how many of them we can get into here. I really just want a single layer. Okay, looks like I can get 8 of them in there. That'd be perfect. And you could rehydrate these with beef broth too. But I'm just going to pour a bit of water in there, just enough to get them to start to float. Because meatloaf, I know you don't have to worry too much about too much water. It'll just take what it needs. You can see the air bubbling out. So when I release it, it should allow for the water to go back in. And I'm going to go ahead and do it right away. Letting the air back in slowly to push the water back in. And let's see how that did in just those few seconds. And take a fork. Oh goodness, those are getting real nice already. Okay, so I'm going to turn them all over and do it one more time from the other side. Yeah, beef broth would be a good choice for this, I think. Make sure I get that on there right. So, again, I'm not going to give it any real time because it was almost done the first time. Apparently the meatloaf doesn't take much time this way. That looks like it's just about done already. Heat that up a little bit and it would be done. I'm going to set that aside and then get the mashed potatoes. So the peas might need more time. I'm going to check, actually I should check those next. So transferred it to the measure cup, plastic wrap over the top, and heat it up in the microwave a bit. It looks like they puffed up. I wasn't going to open this, but I want to see in there now. Kind of stir them around. Oh, that's much better already. Oh, who knew? So I'm going to keep that covered up for a few minutes while I do the mashed potatoes. And heat up the meatloaf and everything will be done. Yeah, look at that. Oh, wow. Didn't see that coming, did you? Whirled peas. Anyway, the other things rehydrated. Next is the mashed potatoes. It needs about 2 cups of water. So I've got 2 cups of boiling water. And I'm just going to try to pour this in all at once and stir it real quick and then cover it. Okay, so...
Do you want me to pour?
Oh, somewhere in there, there's an oxygen absorber. Oh, probably won't hurt anything. Oh, there, I see it. So let's see if I can pick it up. I probably, otherwise I was going to dump that in there. And these are from when we made mashed potatoes, seasoned them, buttered, milk, everything. So the only thing it needs is the water. So I'm going to try to get it in there real quick. Stir it real quick, just to get it all moistened. I'm not going to worry too much if there's some little lumps of dry right now, because then I'm going to cover it, let it sit for 5 minutes, just like you normally would with instant mashed potatoes. All right, so I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes, and we'll be back and put some stuff on plates, or a plate. Heated up the meatloaf for about 2 minutes in the microwave to get them nice and toasty. Everything else should be done. So total time between starting to rehydrate and finish, less than 10 minutes for any one item.
Yep.
So it really goes quickly. The peas take the longest, that's for sure. So that one would be better to have a little extra time. But if you start it first, it seemed to work out okay. And the potatoes are the fastest. So the meatloaf was pretty close to that also. I'm going to plate some up. Okay, put a couple of slices of the meatloaf on there. And some of the mashed potatoes. Normally I'd probably give it 10 minutes or something, and I only gave it the amount of time that I needed to warm up the meatloaf, which is probably 3 minutes. So not much time at all. And some of the peas. A slotted spoon for those. And of course the all-important butter. All right, add some salt and pepper, and that's all we need. Taste testing, anybody? How about some barbecue sauce or ketchup? Ketchup, please. Oh. Or the... All right.
Everything rehydrated well and very quickly. I think the outer surface of the peas made them the most resistant to rehydrating, but they still rehydrated with very little trouble and were quite good. The taste testing went well, and dinner followed.